Hi, chiropractors. Here we go. This one is crucial. Man, this is going to be so easy to let it just fly over your head because it's crazy how much distraction is out there in the world and is out there in the chiropractic profession. It is anything but new. Dr. BJ Palmer wrote about it hundreds, 100 plus years ago. The distraction and the dilution had already come in strong and in a big way to our profession. And so what I know about this is how difficult this is. And so I don't want to just talk about it conceptually, how to stay focused in practice, like truly actually focused on chiropractic patient care and building a wildly, massively successful, huge, impactful practice. So I want to give you 3 tactical steps, 3 things I need to do myself every day, every week, every month, every year. And holy crap, these 3 things work. There could be more to it than these 3, but these are the 3 big fish for sure. Number 1 tip on how to stay ridiculously, awesomely focused on chiropractic and in practice is to stay in practice. Stay in it. Don't leave it. Don't scale back too much. Don't go to a side hustle. Don't go do so many other things that you're barely ever seeing patients. Now, you may be watching this video right here now in this moment from me and going, but wait a minute. Don't you own and run the pediatric experience and do a lot of Zoom training and writing articles and teaching and seminars and everything else? And with that, haven't you had to scale back a little bit in practice in terms of hours directly taking care of patients and on the tables and in the practice? Yes is the answer. And that is why I am someone who can speak to it clearly. I fight my face off, to protect my 2 to 3 shifts a week with patients. Nothing. Oh man, it is. I just do everything I can to not let anything get in the way of those patient shifts because God has called me to teach. Now, the thing I'm teaching is chiropractic and how to stay in it. But that's how ridiculously key this is. The reason the pediatric experience is focused only on teaching chiropractic, and we don't let anything else. In fact, no one teaches and preaches about the purity and staying focused on chiropractic alone and how much there's neuroscience and practical experience to say that chiropractic is enough. No one talks about that as much as us. Because I'm still in practice, because I didn't leave practice to go start a coaching group and a teaching group and a seminar group. In fact, you can ask my wife, you can ask my friends, you can ask my team. I waited years longer than I should have. God put PX on my heart long ago, but I did not want to run another company for one singular reason. Of course I saw the need. Of course I knew we could make this much impact in the world with PX. I didn't want to sacrifice being in practice at all. I literally held the line. I stayed where I was in just a not good situation, completely limited situation, completely off track, off purpose situation for a long period of time, simply so I could stay on track, on purpose, and in practice and not get distracted. Now, turns out PX is the best distraction ever, kind of like kids and family and health and everything else. So there is healthy distractions, but my goodness almighty, there is so many that aren't. And so what chiropractors do when they get in the real estate game or the VRBO game or whatever else they want to get into is if that's a passion, that's fine. But you have to understand it is going to pull you out of practice and your practice is going to suffer. Your practice is going to struggle. Your practice is going to first flatline and slow down and plateau. And then from there, once you plateau and you're flatlined, this is neurology, this is life, you've lost momentum. And the thing that comes after flatlining, plateauing is you go backwards and you struggle and you lose team and you lose patience and you have turnover and the practice goes backwards while these other distractions and dilutions are pulling you forward. So the number 1 tip I can give you is to stay in practice. The miracles are enough to refuel you. I don't even have to be in there 5 days a week. I don't even have to be in there 3 to 4 days a week. The way our practice is, and if you're here's my last tip on this one. And if you're like, man, I'm in a high volume practice, and if I really slow down and think about it, it is. Patients come in and they're so much better. They're having such improvements in their quality of life. Chiropractic does kick ass. But if, we're just speaking homie to homie here, if that still feels like the tread has worn a little bit on those tires, here's what you can do. See more kids and see tougher cases. Increase the challenge. and you'll increase the transformation and the reward and the miracles that come with that. So the reason that I especially get the most out of my 2 to 3 days a week in practice is because what I'm looking for here in a word, the depth of the miracles, the wild, unbelievably mind-blowing results we get with kids in tough perfect storm cases is plenty. I can't say that would be the case if I went in for 2 days a week and I was just cranking on low back pain and necks and migraines and sports injuries and whatnot. I do not think that would be enough, even if it was the same amount of hours of patient care, to keep me in there. So if you're seeing miracles, but they still feel a little watered down and diluted, level up your game, see more kids, see more tough perfect storm cases. Tip number 2 to stay focused in practice: keep studying it. Keep getting better. Keep training. Keep getting on Zooms every single week. I am literally training every single week. Keep reading scientific articles. Keep going back to your old notes. So the biggest thing you can do to get better is to refine, not learn something new. And so you'd be blown away by how often I go back to my notes from my internship 15 plus years ago with Dr. Cody and adjusting tips that he had. I am constantly in the trenches with our team. We are constantly having clinical meetings saying, what about this? What about this? What if we got better here? What if we improved this by 2%, that by 3%, that by 10%? Clinically, what difference would that make? I go to seminars every single year. I took Tolsky Tonal this year and it was incredible, and it increased our efficacy and our skill set big time. This year, I'm going to go to a SOT cranial seminar and get refreshed there. I'm going to go to Network. Dr. Sharina, let's go. I cannot wait to learn Network. I'm going to go to the Syntropy chiropractic seminars and learn improvements in occipital lifts and standing and other sort of adjustments. I can't wait to get better in what the next year will be, my 16th year in practice. Lean in with your team, lean in with yourself, get into something like PX where you can constantly train every single week to get better. Go to at least 1 or 2 seminars a year. I really like to say quarterly with that, and then constantly be getting better. And number 3 tip to stay focused in practice: draw your circle smaller. You got to protect your house, okay? Pretend you're an Under Armour commercial here, homies, all right? Under Armour meets Principled Pure Chiropractic, okay? The truth is a lot of chiropractors get distracted really easily. And if you are hanging around a bunch of distracted, deluded, more interested in making money and having a side hustle people than you are pure, obsessively focused pediatric and family chiropractors, you will be more likely to become one of the former, the distracted, deluded money chasers and recognition wanters, versus the focused impact makers. And I'll tell you this, that group, the latter group, the focus group, guess who makes more money? Guess who earns more recognition and reward? Yeah, the focus group, every single time over the deluded and the distracted group. So look at your homies, and it just ain't always easy. If you got to fire a coach, fire a mentor, leave a group, kind of peel back from a friend, here's what you do. I'll finish it with this. Go towards the people who are obsessively focused and impactful and successful at all times in what you want. The more you spend your time talking to them, hanging with them, focused with them, being around them, that will move you away from the folks who are not those things. So the towards strategy always works to move away from things, people, places, groups, organizations that maybe are not where you want to be anymore and don't best serve you, especially in this way. So those are my 3 tips to stay ridiculously, incredibly, obsessively, impactfully focused in practice. They work. You got to work them all the time. You got to review this. You got to stay on this. The shiny objects are what, Alex Hormozy calls it, the lady in the red dress, the shiny gold objects over here. They're everywhere, man. They're in your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed. They're at every single seminar expo. No, that's not right. Not every single seminar expo. Not at our seminars. There's no booth selling lasers and distractions and money makers at our seminars. There's just chiropractic booths at all time, which is why there doesn't need to be that many, because there ain't that many of us who can stay focused. And that's the point. Do you want to be one of many, or do you want to be one of the select few who creates unbelievable impact through one thing only with your time here? Choose these 3 things, execute these 3 things, and you'll have that one thing. Ridiculously impactful focus in practice always.